I journaled every single trade I've taken for the last 3 years. That's over 1,000 trades logged. And today I want to actually show you the system behind that, because it's probably not what you think a trading journal should look like. Let me show you what this looks like, because it's a lot simpler than people expect. So the first section is preparation. This is where I write down my daily bias, so my read on the market for that day, the direction I'm leaning, the key levels I care about, and the overall thesis I'm trading around. Right under that is my watch list, so whatever instruments are on my radar that day and why they matter. And then the last part of the preparation is my trading rules and my entry checklist, and this is the part most people skip. Before I even touch a trade, I write down what needs to be true. These are my non-negotiable, this is my checklist, and if they're not there, I don't take the trade. It's simple as that, and this should actually be the same for every trading day. Then comes the actual session log, and this is where the real review happens. For every trade I take or I do not take, I give it a title, and underneath that, I walk through the framework, so the narrative of the trade and what actually triggered my entry. And this is very important. I always attach screenshots so I can look back at what I saw on the charts, because you're gonna forget what happened in a week or in a month. And screenshots are very, very useful for that. Then I log the outcome. Was it a win? Was it a loss? Was it a mistake? Or was it a valid loss? And I rate every single trade out of 5 stars. And that rating isn't about whether it won or it lost. It's not about whether you've made money or not. It's about how well I execute in my own process. If I stick to the rules and execute properly, the trade can be a 5-star even if it was a loss. And if I did not follow the rules, if it was just pure luck or a pure gamble, the rating should be 1 star even if you made money out of that. Under that is the key takeaways. And this is where the real learning happens. What is the one lesson this trade is teaching to me? Sometimes there is just none. But if there is one, what do I do differently going forward? And were there any external factors at play? So things like fatigue, news, my emotional state that day, whatever happened. And then at the end of the session, I do a full recap. So I write down how the day actually unfolded and whether the market followed my pre-market thesis or not. And then the part that really changed things for me is behavioral leaks. Did I hesitate? Did I exit too early or out of fear? Did I break a rule? You have to be really honest with yourself here. And I finish every single day with one question. If I could go back to 9:30 that morning, what's the one piece of advice I'd give myself? This is the most important question in your journal, and I will tell you why at the end of this video. Now, I want to be clear about something. This template is just an idea. It's not something that you have to stick to exactly. Think of it like a guideline. You can find your own questions, your own sections, whatever actually helps you, because at the end of the day, this is your journal and you're the only one reading that, not anyone else. So it has to work for you. If you have no idea where to start, this is a solid starting point, but adjust it based on what you actually need. So now let me show you this in action, and I'm going to do that by replaying a day from my own trading, and we're gonna journal it together. Okay, so here everything is ready. I have my template, I have everything I need to fill in. Now you see that it's Sunday because of course this is not a live session and all the other days are already full. So I'm just using this day, a random day, just to show you. So as you can see, my trading rules are already there because these are non-negotiable for me and they don't change on a daily basis. They are always the same, and this is what I'm looking for every day. Now we're gonna check my daily bias and the watch list. Here we are on the charts. I'm focusing on futures, so it's either I'm gonna trade the triad on indices, RTY, YM, silver and gold, or oil. Now we have to choose where to put our focus. So let's see which one has the best profile. Now I'm really happy with this daily chart because we have this SMT with YM. Also here on ES, we have clear drawn liquidity below. We have a fair value gap. We can use the previous day low as liquidity here. This is a clean daily profile for a reversal actually. Also look how NQ is low in the range. This is good. Let's go to the 4 hours to check if we have a clean profile. Now at this time, I really like that NQ is rejecting this fair value gap. And again, it's really low in the range. So I'm not expecting NQ to catch up with YM. So my bias on NQ is super clear and it's bearish. So I can go back to my journal and I have NQ bearish. I have a daily fair value gap. I have an SMT in discount. On my watch list, NQ is 100% in there. Now let's watch RTY and YM. We have an SMT here above, not really symmetrical up here, but we have also drawn liquidity below. It's quite up in the range. As you can see, it's a bit up. We are in premium, I guess. We are. So let's refine on the 4 hours. Do I like this? Well, on the 4 hours, not really, because we could be manipulating this level, but this is like following the narrative of my NQ bias. But here we also have this fair value gap. I don't like RTY. If I have to choose where to put my focus, it would be on NQ. So let's just focus on NQ. Now let's look at gold and silver. Let's go into daily. Let's see if we can find something useful. Nothing here. We are inside the range. Not much here, honestly. Let's go to the 4 hours. I don't like shorting the low of day or longing the high of day. I would say nothing interesting at this point. Let's just forget about silver and gold for now. And finally, let's watch oil. Now here it's interesting. Even without looking at the daily, the 4 hours is already interesting because this asset clearly reached the high and these two assets did not reach the high. So we can trade these with the narrative that these assets are gonna catch up and resynchronize with HO. So this is 100% on my watch list. And let's say oil, RB, CL, resync. So let's add RB and CL here on my watch list. I know that I want to put my focus on NQ on the bearish side because we had all these supporting my idea. And we have oil that we can trade long because we are resynchronizing with the other asset. So this is my watch list and these are the trading rules and these don't change. So now is the time to find the entry. So let's look at my NQ short. And in this case, we have a super nice short here. Let's look for the entry away from the fair value gap on the 1 hour. Okay, we have now our two-stage SMT with this fair value gap. So this is an entry that checks all the boxes for me. So I'm placing my entry at DOB when it's confirmed, targeting this low and this new opening gap. So let's see how it goes. Awesome. We get to the target. Okay, so now is the time to journal this trade. Don't wait for the end of the session. You have time now because you don't have to enter on a new setup now. You can take 2 minutes and what we're gonna do is just screenshot, for example, the entry, screenshot the 1 hour profile, screenshot my 4 hour bias. And when I have everything, I go back to my journal. I'm gonna attach the bias. I'm gonna attach the structure on the 1 hour and I'm gonna touch the entry. Right after it happened, you should not rush into another trade. So take 2 minutes to actually write down everything about this trade. And don't think I will remember because you won't, okay? So when you will go back and review your week or review your month, you will know exactly why you took what you took and how you are feeling in the moment. So for example, in this case, what I have to do is walk through the narrative. So bearish bias on daily, fair value gap, SMT, in discount. We have a continuation on the 1 hour, fair value gap, entry on the CASD on the 3 minutes. This is the logic behind the trade. Was it a win? Was it a loss? It was a win. And now you have to give an honest rating. For me, this is a 5-star trade because this is perfect. We have all the signatures I'm looking for. We have internal to external. We have premium and discount. We have a drawn liquidity. We have a 2-stage. This is not lagging, so we don't need the strength switch, and we have the entry CISD. So everything checks my boxes. So this was an honest 5 stars. Even if this trade was a win, you can say I was hesitating on my entry, useless, don't do it again. Trust your system. Or for example, let's say you just took profit at this low. Why did you take profits this low? Fear, took profits too soon, ignored the drawn liquidity, or ignored the higher time frame levels. Everything that this trade can teach you, whether it was a win or a loss. Let's say you're moving your stop to profit too early, okay, and you get stopped at break even right before the move. That is again fear, move break even too soon. No need to do that. Trust your system, trust your levels, everything that you would do differently if you could take this trade again. And this is gonna be your best teacher. Let's say this was missed, but it's still a good setup. You can still journal these trades just to gather data. Why did you miss this setup? I'm focused. I was scrolling on TikTok, whatever. I was watching the wrong asset. Why did you miss these 5-star setups? Just be honest. And again, you can learn a lot from this. And then when the day ends, you just go over what went through your day. So let's say you just followed your rules, you took your win and walked away. So walked away after my win, great choice. I am gonna focus on something else, live my life. This is a positive thing. Or I kept trading and I lost all my profit. This is your day recap, anything that happened on that day. And also bias on NQ was okay, it played out. So you can go back to your daily bias, your watch list, and write down if it was good, if it was bad, or if you didn't see something, or if you were focused on the wrong assets, for example. Behavioral leaks is, at the end of the day, how are you feeling? Did you take too many trades? Do you feel exhausted? Do you feel okay? What was the main emotion that you felt that day? It was fear because you don't fully trust the system. It was greed, so you miss on a good setup and profit because I wanted more. That's fine. Be honest with yourself. Just write down your issues. What was the emotion that you were carrying over the day in front of the charts? Was it confusion? Study more, backtest more. So you have to give yourself advice here. And this is going to help you see the patterns over the days and the weeks and the months. And this is how you actually solve these issues. And now the final question. If you could go back to 9:30 a.m., what is the one piece of advice you give yourself? Now here you have to be really honest. And it's not about winning or losing. It's about finding out what negative emotions are there with you every time, all the time, and try to not get rid of that because they will never go away fully, but just try to recognize those emotions and not act on those emotions. For example, if you feel that fear is always with you, just trust your system, follow your rules. And this is something you have to carry with you on the next morning. So the next day when you open a new page, you're gonna copy this and paste it above. So the next day you're gonna have trust your system, follow your rules as the first thing you're seeing. And put that in mind because that's the advice you gave yourself yesterday. So the next day you're reading this, okay, I have to trust my system, I have to follow my rules. If you feel like you're unfocused, you're losing focus, just cut off all the distractions. And the next day when you are in front of your charts and your journal, the first thing you're saying is cut off all the distractions. So if you have your phone, just put it away, do not disturb, whatever. If you know that your phone is actually a distraction for you and you find yourself scrolling and losing setups like I was doing a lot, just the first thing is, okay, cut off all the distractions. Let me grab my phone and let me put it far away from me so I'm not even tempted to use it, okay? I have to be focused. So you really have to find out what you have to do in order to listen to your advice and remind that to yourself every day until it becomes a habit. And here's the thing I really want you to take from this. Journaling isn't just screenshots and technical data. It's not just entries and exit and win rates. Journaling is about finding the patterns in you, finding the weaknesses, finding whatever is actually making this journey harder for you than it needs to be. And once you find those patterns, it's on you to put in the work and fix them because that part is different for everyone. You have to find what works for you because we are all wired differently. But out of everything in this template, that last question is the one that matters the most. If you could go back to 9:30 this morning, what's the one piece of advice you give yourself? Because tomorrow you're going to have another 9:30. So you don't want to walk into it and make the same mistake you made today. And that question isn't really about today at all. It's you talking to the version of you that's going to be sitting at the charts tomorrow. It's you talking to your future self. And that's the most important piece of the whole journal because it's telling you exactly what you did wrong, how you are feeling, and how you don't want to feel again. And it's normal to have emotions. That's not the problem. The problem is acting on them. So if you know you're too weak to your emotions right now, the 9:30 advice is what you repeat to yourself over and over every single morning until you break the pattern. You force yourself to believe that you're not that trader anymore, the one who breaks their own rules. And if you keep repeating that to yourself every day, you are going to become that. You are going to believe it. If you're at the point where you already know your patterns, you know what you keep doing wrong, and you just need help actually fixing it, that's exactly what I work through with my mentorship students. So come find me on my Instagram at Sierra Trades and send me a DM. See you in the next one.